More perfect here in the Coachella Valley. All the latest. NBC Palm Springs at 5 begins now.
Now, connecting the valley, this is NBC Palm Springs at 5.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
I'm Mark Mester. American tourists in part of western Mexico are stranded after the death of a notorious cartel leader triggered widespread violence on Sunday. It's tonight's top story. Several airlines suspended flights to cities like Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara. The unrest erupted after Mexican forces killed a Mencho, the country's most wanted cartel boss and head of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. U.S. officials say American intelligence supported the operation. In the aftermath, suspected cartel members torched buses and businesses, blocked highways, and clashed with security forces across multiple states. The U.S. State Department is urging Americans in affected regions to shelter in place, avoid crowds, and monitor local updates as disruptions continue.
Some of the Americans trapped in Mexico are Coachella Valley locals, and tonight they're sharing their firsthand accounts of this developing situation. Our Brett Rosen spoke with them. He joins us live in studio tonight with their stories for us. Brett?
Olivia, it was supposed to be a boys' trip. That's what one local told me, as he is currently hunkered down in his hotel room in Puerto Vallarta. Now, instead of wishing for one more day in paradise, he's just making sure his flight back home is still ready to go. Puerto Vallarta is supposed to be paradise on earth, but since the recent capture and death of the Mexican cartel leader known as El Mencho, the once bright sun is now covered with smoke from buildings and cars catching on fire, and the quiet scenery has been overshadowed by the sound of helicopters flying around as the cartel has wreaked havoc in the city.
Not far from the main highway in Puerto Vallarta, and off to the right where I thought was a brush fire, it now became very clear that this was actually a bus that had been thankfully evacuated, but the bus was completely engulfed in flames. And then we started realizing something very serious was up.
Palm Springs local Randy Bissett arrived in Puerto Vallarta last week for what he calls a boys' trip and said it was all running smoothly until the cartel attacks on Sunday. Bissett says he's never feared for his life, but more than once was scared he and his friends would be harmed in the crossfire.
At one point, I thought, okay, how severe is this going to get? Are they going to take over these buildings? Are they going to really play havoc with the city? I didn't feel like I was going to be executed with guns, but I did fear for my safety.
By Sunday evening, most grocery stores and restaurants closed down during the attacks, leaving many visitors without a way to get food. And even with stores opening back up today, lines are now out the door. Another Coachella Valley local caught in between the conflict is Wesley Uri, who says half the year he calls Puerto Vallarta home.
All flights have been canceled today, so it's scary, but you know we know the resiliency of this country and these people, and they're we live here, and these are friends and family of ours.
Now, Wesley Uri is not slated to fly back to the States until later this year. But as for Randy Bissett, he says as of right now, his flights are still on track to take off tomorrow. As the story develops, we will continue to update on our website, NBCPalmSprings.com. Live in studio, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
All right, thanks to Brett for that. Turning to some local headlines this evening, a woman died last night after she was struck and killed in a car crash in Rancho Mirage. 62-year-old Alicia Miller of Palm Desert was in the area of Frank Sinatra Drive and Highway 111 when that accident was reported just before 10 p.m. Sheriffs reported that Miller was suffering from significant injuries when they approached the scene, and when paramedics arrived, she was pronounced. The motorist who hit Miller is still unknown at this time, and it's unclear if they sustained any injuries. Drugs and alcohol do not appear to be factors in the crash. The investigation remains ongoing.
Just after noon today, deputies from the Palm Desert Sheriff's Station responded to Bristol Farms in Palm Desert following reports of an unresponsive man. When they arrived on scene, deputies and paramedics began life-saving efforts, but the man was pronounced dead shortly after. Deputies remained in the area as they conducted a death investigation. Authorities say it's still ongoing and no additional details have been released at this time.
A Salton City man accused of murder in connection with the case of 17-year-old Tania Tovar made his second court appearance today, but his preliminary hearing was delayed. Our Tommy Gallegos joins us live in studio tonight, and he has the latest on this case. Tommy?
That's right. 51-year-old Abraham Feinblum walked into the Imperial County Superior Court in handcuffs for his preliminary hearing, an appearance that was expected to move the case forward. But proceedings were cut short after the court granted a continuance when Feinblum's new legal counsel failed to appear. 51-year-old Abraham Feinblum appeared before a judge for the second time since his arrest on February 13th, 1 week after pleading not guilty to a murder charge with a firearm enhancement in relation to the Tania Tovar case. His preliminary hearing was expected to move the case forward, but the court granted a continuance after Feinblum obtained new legal counsel. He will now be represented by criminal defense attorney Melanie Rowe, the same attorney that defended Feinblum's case back in 2019 when he was charged with child kidnapping. Those charges have been dropped since. Inside the courtroom, Tania's father sat just feet away from the man accused in his daughter's death, seeing the suspect in person for the first time. Following the hearing, we spoke with Tania's father, who said being there was incredibly difficult but necessary.
You know, I lost the best thing, one of the best things, because it's not my only child, it's my first child. But the next best thing right now in this situation is to make sure that this gentleman, I don't know if you want to even call him that, but you know, he served his time for this, and hopefully, you know, and save more lives.
17-year-old Tania Tovar was reported missing back on December 1st, and the investigation took a tragic turn on February 11th when authorities confirmed they had found some of the teen's remains less than a mile away from Feinblum's home in Salton City. Tania's family had identified Feinblum as a potential suspect after they found out she was planning to meet with him days before she went missing. After multiple search warrants, Feinblum was arrested outside his home on February 13th after he tried to evade law enforcement. The court appearance comes just 1 day after family members and Salton City residents held a vigil in Tania's honor right outside of Feinblum's home. The overwhelming support from the community has carried into the courtroom by Tania's father, who told us that this case goes beyond his daughter's disappearance.
I want to tell everybody thank you for all of the support, all of the love and appreciation, you know, and I'm sorry that anybody had to go through this. I never thought that I would. I hope that we can look at this situation and understand how crazy this world is. And, you know, again, my daughter has touched so many different people in so many different ways. And we just hoping for obviously the best outcome, and that'll be for that gentleman to, you know, stay behind bars for what he did.
If convicted on all charges, Feinblum could face 50 years to life in prison. Feinblum's next court appearance is scheduled for Wednesday, February 25th, and our team will be out there to bring you the latest coverage on this case. Live in studio, I'm Tommy Gallegos, NBC Palm Springs.
Tommy, thank you. Well, today marked Stephen Hernandez's second court hearing for his trial readiness conference since his indictment back in October of 2025 on 9 criminal counts of perjury and conflict of interest. However, today his attorney, Alexander Lauder, pushed the trial readiness conference back to March 24th. We attempted to obtain a comment from Lauder after the hearing, but he stated he did not have one. Hernandez faces 1 felony count of conflict of interest, 4 felony counts of perjury, all to which he has pled not guilty. Since his first court appearance, Coachella City Mayor Stephen Hernandez has made few public appearances during some city council meetings, including at the appointment of the new mayor pro tem of Coachella, Frank Figueroa. If Hernandez is found guilty of the charges he's facing, he will lose the ability to hold any public office role and may face more than 7 years in prison.
And just moments after Stephen Hernandez's case was called, an alleged federal arrest was made outside of the Indio Larson Justice Center, and it was captured on camera by our news team. According to our team at the scene, a man in a suit was on a phone call in the parking lot and appeared to be arriving or leaving a court hearing when an unidentified man approached him and began asking questions. Within minutes, 2 unmarked vehicles arrived, and an individual who identified himself as a federal agent placed that man in handcuffs, put him in front seat of a vehicle, and then drove off. 2 other men also assisted in the arrest, one of them wearing a mask. We've contacted the FBI. They stated they are not aware of any arrests at this time, and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency has also yet to respond as well. We also spoke to the Indio Police Department. They confirmed they were not involved with the arrest, nor were they notified of any federal agents in the area. We'll keep you updated on the story as it continues to develop.
Let's take a break from the headlines, bring you outside for a gorgeous live look from our Agua Caliente casino camera in Rancho Mirage. Those clouds are going to make for a beautiful sunset tonight, Pablo, and the temperatures out there feeling pretty nice, only to get warmer, I hear.
Oh, yeah, but how beautiful it is to be alive and in the desert right now. 79 degrees. There's 5 states in the northeast of the United States with more than 2 feet of snow. So enjoy these beautiful temperatures, 79 degrees. But yes, we are going to get hot. Low humidity at 13%. Temperatures around Yucca Valley at 65. Palm Springs, a very gorgeous 79. Indio at 79. Up in Big Bear, they're also at 52. So not cool at all. The heat wave coming in. And soon we'll be around 15 to 20 degrees hotter than normal. Dew point at 35 degrees, so very comfortable. Just a gorgeous day. Get outside, get your exercise on. Like I say always, the wind's not that windy. Whitewater just 5 miles an hour. They'll get a little bit windy on Thursday. I'll talk about that in my 7-day forecast. Palm Springs just 4-mile-per-hour wind. So again, just a gorgeous day to be outside before the real heat comes in. And now looking at our 3-day comfort air forecast, look at this. 90s expected on Tuesday and Wednesday. So yeah, the 90s are back and we're still in February. Hopefully it's just a high of 90 and really closer to more like 88 degrees, but in the sun's going to feel a lot hotter. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, yep, 90s back all 3 days, even being partly cloudy, but no rain expected for the next 10 days. I'm Pablo Alsina. Back over to Olivia and Mark.
Pablo, thank you. All right, happening right now, an open house with the Palm Springs Fire Department, where the community is invited to give feedback on Fire Station 1's modernization project. Our Caitlin Kelly joins us live tonight from Palm Springs with local reaction. Caitlin?
Yeah, that's right, Olivia. I'm standing out front of Fire Station 1, which is a designated Class 1 historic site. It was constructed in 1957 and designed by historic architect Albert Frey. So obviously, we hear that this building was built in 1957, back when the population of Palm Springs was nearly 8,000. And now, with a population of roughly over 45,000, the station understandably looking to expand and modernize. Tonight, Paula Alvarado, as well as several officials, got the chance to open the doors to this station and speak to people and allow some feedback as well about the thoughts on the proposed expansion. We had the chance to speak with Paul Alvarado earlier this week, who talked about why this expansion is so important.
I need to make sure as the fire chief that I'm serving the community very well, and we need to plan out at least for the next 50 years. And the plan that day is to come on in and take a look at some very conceptual plans that we worked with to, number one, increase our staffing daily here at the Palm Springs Fire Department Station 1, but also to make sure that we're able to fit the proper equipment. Right now, there's a fire engine and a squad, a paramedic squad that's a pickup truck that's serving our population. This is the busiest fire station here in the city. The number of calls this station runs every year used to be what the city was running when the station was built.
Now, Olivia, Mark, this initially, as far as several of the people that came to speak and air their thoughts, was they thought to be more of an open forum where they could give feedback, and feedback they have. Several of the local business owners surrounding the area are very upset because this expansion would reduce significantly the parking for a lot of the businesses here, which they feel will directly impact their sales and their business. When they went into this forum, they did find out that they had 2 minutes to speak after Paul Alvarado, Fire Chief Paul Alvarado, spoke for about 20 minutes. Hearing that they only had 2 minutes to speak in feedback, several people feeling that they were misled. We had the chance to hear from one of those gentlemen. This is what he had to say.
No, we were lied to. We were told what the format wasn't going to be, and they did exactly that. They provided us, they talked for 20 minutes, and they provided us 2 minutes to express our concerns. We had taken the time to consolidate all of our questions, to make it as efficient as possible. We identified one person to ask the questions, and they gave the person that represents the entire block 2 minutes to respond. Insulting, we were gaslit, we were lied to.
This open house clearly taken quite a nasty turn. You can see many of the people here have now taken to the streets, starting sort of an impromptu protest, talking about saving their parking. A lot of upset business owners and people that frequent these businesses. At the end of the day, they have said that they support the fire station, but they don't want to do it at the expense of their businesses. Live in Palm Springs, I'm Caitlin Kelly. Mark, Olivia, sending it back to you.
All right, Caitlin, thanks for that live report. We appreciate it. Coming up next tonight, Camelot Theaters will soon launch a film tribute series to honor one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses. We've got more coming up.
Plus, a golden return for the U.S. men's hockey team, who are back in the States, ready to celebrate their historic win. Tim O'Brien will tell us a little bit more about that in sports. Stay with us.
Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 5.
Welcome back. The Palm Springs Cultural Center is honoring the life and legacy of Catherine O'Hara.
It's hosting a special 4-film tribute series celebrating her unforgettable work on screen. It's titled Catherine O'Hara, Simply the Best. The series begins March 4th. That was her birthday, and it continues on select Wednesdays through April at the Cultural Center's historic Camelot Theaters. Each evening opens with curated highlights from Schitt's Creek, followed by a feature film including Best in Show, Beetlejuice, After Hours, and Waiting for Guffman. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the feature film starting at 7. We're going to take a quick break, but Pablo Alcino has your 7-day forecast on the other side. We'll be right back.
Happy Monday. I'm Pablo Alsina. Look at this gorgeous live shot from the Walter Clark cam. The sky, perfect blues, touch of yellows here and there, and of course some clouds, but those clouds have no rain in them. Actually, we're not expecting rain for at least 10 days, if not longer. For tomorrow, between 88 and 92 degrees. So yes, the 90s will be back tomorrow. But look at this. Even today, we were at 82. That was still well above normal. And tomorrow, we should be around 15 to 20 degrees hotter than normal. I don't think we're going to set any records, but we might be close. Were we the hottest in the Southwest? Still no. Phoenix hotter than us, but we'll have #1 tomorrow, I guarantee. High temperatures today just in the mid 80s. Again, tomorrow will be in the 90s. And as far as wind goes, Whitewater on Wednesday will be pretty windy with winds more than 30 miles an hour. And our 7-day comfort air forecast, look at this. The 90s are definitely back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Friday getting hot, hot, hot up to 96 degrees. I'm Pablo Alsina. Keep it here on NBC Palm Springs.
NBC Palm Springs Sports with Tim O'Brien, powered by Agua Caliente Casino.
Well, welcome back. The country still on a high after winning gold medal yesterday in men's hockey, shocking the Canadians. Certainly a moment you're going to remember where you were when it all happened. Now, following nearly 24 hours of celebration in Milan, the Americans back home on U.S. soil, and they're back home as gold medalists. Now, initially the team were to fly to Newark, but with the snowstorm in the Northeast, the Americans diverted to Miami. Not a bad spot where they'll enjoy some sunshine and celebration after their historic win. Again, their first gold medal in 46 years. Captain Austin Matthews and his teammates still on cloud 9.
Honestly, not really. Yeah, it still feels pretty surreal. I mean, I don't think we really realized the magnitude of just everything that's going to happen in the last 24 hours. Just because you're just in it, you're living right in it. And, you know, getting back here, seeing all the support from back home, you know, it's just incredible what this team was able to accomplish. And representing the U.S., obviously it's an honor. So we're ecstatic and we're excited to be back home celebrating.
Now, the team will head to D.C. on Tuesday and join President Trump for the State of the Union address before returning back to the NHL, where they'll meet their clubs, whether home or on the road, later this week. Well, back here at home, the Desert Hot Springs girls basketball team continues to write their names into the history books. After starting the season 0-8, the Golden Eagles now will play for the Division IX state title on Friday or Saturday. That's still to be determined, but it'll be a tall task against a very strong Sierra Vista team who blew out their opponent in the semifinals by over 30 points. Now, the game will be held at either Azusa Pacific or Toyota Arena in Ontario. We'll have more on that later this week. And I've got some fun news to share, a little shameless plug. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9, you can catch the Morning Drive with Tim O'Brien on 102.7 The Fanatic, the Coachella Valley sports leader. Our very own Brett Rosen along for the journey as well each and every morning. So hope you can join us. A little local and national headlines, hot takes, and a lot more fun. And on Thursday, special guest Kenny Albert will be joining the program. That'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
All right, that's it for us. But for tennis fans, Sunday, the BNP Paribas Open's in town. Should be great.
Looking forward to it.
Love me some